following show is a paid program.
Hey family, how you doing? We are here today and we will be talking to another legend of R&B, Felton Pilate of Confunkshun. Hello, my friend.
Hey, what's going on, man? Thanks you so much for having me on your show.
Yes, on today, well, all this week we were just talking. I was telling you we were having legends of R&B. We had Michael Cooper on Monday, Cheryl Cooley on yesterday, and now famous Felton Pilate of Confunkshun, lead vocalist. I mean, wow, just the singing, everything. Let's talk a little bit of how you got started there.
Wow. Okay. Um, I had my own band at 16. I had started my own band and we were going for a while. Um, but then the drummer in my band got bad grades, so his dad decided to pull him out.
Mm-hmm.
And shortly after that, one of the other competing bands in town, a group called Project Soul that Michael Cooper was the lead of, Michael, popped up. Hey man, I heard your group broke up. Would you consider joining us? And I'm like, let me think about it. Yeah. Um, and so I mean, so at that point I joined Project Soul. That was 1970. Um, so we stayed there in the Bay Area doing talent shows, army bases, nightclubs, whatever. Um, we left Vallejo. Hold on. Around August 3rd, 1972. We were picked up by Stax recording artists, the Soul Children, hired us as their backup band, came in and showed up in their Greyhound bus, picked us up from Vallejo. 3 weeks later, we're standing in front of 104,000 people at the LA Coliseum doing the Watts Tax Festival. Like I said, 104,000 people cutting a live album and filming a live movie at the same time.
Wow,
Um,
that's something.
Amazing, we stayed there in Memphis, working with the children for another 2 years. Then we quit, decided to go on our own. Short stories, we changed our name to Confunkshun. Eventually got picked up by Mercury Records, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Sounds good. Let's see a few of the pictures of you. Let's say the pictures.
There's some. They're
There
there.
you go. There you go.
Yes,
Yes, the
back
album
when I had
there.
hair,
That's exactly. That's where you didn't.
right?
That's you.
That is I.
There you go. And that's us together. There you go.
All right.
Sounds good. In looking back and just reading over you after leaving Confunction, MC Hammer, how did you guys meet? Let's talk about that.
Oh, okay. We were introduced by a gentleman that I was working with. He would hire me to do keyboard arrangements.
Hmm.
His name was Fred Pittman, and he had a production deal going on with Fantasy Records over in Oakland. So he hired me to do keyboard arrangements for him, and he had this new artist that he wanted to do some material for, and they were
Hmm.
called. It was Stanley Burrell and another guy. They call themselves the Holy Ghost Boys, right? And they were doing Christian flavored rap, right? Um, so Fantasy Records had signed myself, James Early, my second engineer in my studio, and the Holy Ghost Boys. We were all signed to Fantasy at the same time. Fantasy had no idea how to market us, so they let us all go at the same time. Uh, so then, so then, I hooked up with Stanley outside of the contract. We recorded the album. I remember we had at least one conversation. Just like, dude, I respect where you're coming from. I don't know if that name's gonna work for you.
Right.
But pop up one day, hey man, my new name is MC Hammer, and released the song "Ring 'Em," and again, that was the beginning of a beautiful friendship there. You know.
There you go. But let's look at you in video. Let's see you in action, my friend.
Get y'all to join me on that song. Something I wrote for Confunkshun. Y'all ain't feeling me on this. All night, can't sleep, too hurt, too weak, got to call it up. Dial that number, no one answers to two.
Love Train, and you wrote that.
Yes, yeah. Michael Cooper and I wrote the version that you hear now, that you've grown to love, is the version that Michael and I wrote. Originally, it was a song that I had written by myself, and Michael asked could he have a track by himself, and he came up with some the current lyrics, and I just went, no man, I'm not feeling this at all. And it took me a minute for the group to say, man, this works out a lot better, but okay. Eventually, I finally had to say, yeah, this is going to work.
Wow, you know? That's good. That's good right there. That's good. You sounded excellent. You sounded excellent.
Thank you. Yeah. It's always fun. You know, Mike sings that on stage. You know, so I don't ever get a chance to perform it. So when I get a chance to perform it by myself, it's always a lot of fun.
Wow, that's good. That's good. In doing so and looking at everything, just from Love Train and everything, and then MC Hammer, we were just sitting there talking about you producing and writing some of his biggest things that he had, albums that he had. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. I wound up producing Hammer's first three albums. The big one, the one with Let's Get It Started. You Can't Touch This. I'm sorry, that's Please Hammer Don't Hurt 'Em. And then Hammer and I wrote the entire Too Late to Quit album. So that was fun. You know, we didn't do any samples on the record at all. It was all, you know, live instruments. We even had the Earth, Wind and Fire horn section performing on Too Late to Quit. And recorded at Prince's studio. That was awesome. Kind of scary because Prince stuck it while I was in there working one day. Prince stuck his head in the studio. I'm like, what? Oh man, you know, I'm doing something wrong. I'm messing something up. I'm like, you know, nice guy. You know, it's a shame we've lost him, but you know, good experience. So, and like I said, I also had a chance to be Hammer's music director. So I went out with him. The first year I played keyboards. On the Too Legit to Quit tour, I played guitar. Had a chance to tour around the world.
So it looks like you've won several awards along the way with Grammys and everything.
Grammys, American Music Awards. My latest Grammy was actually one with Stanley Clarke. I had a chance to work with him. He had asked me to write him a song. Oh, wait a minute, I gotta tell you, he had asked me to write him a song, and I had to get over, you know, past my, you know, I'm a huge fan thing. Oh yeah, sure, I'll write you a song.
Right.
So I remember being in my studio, and I'm in the middle of writing the bass part, right, and then I had to stop. I'm saying, Oh my God, I'm writing a bass part for Stanley Clark.
Yes.
That's kind that's kind of like inviting Wolfgang Puck over for dinner.
That's an out of body experience, trust me.
Oh man, yeah. Uh, got a very nice compliment from Sir Stanley Clark. That's my bass part on the record.
Wow.
That's my bass. I can honestly say I've played bass on a Stanley Clark record. Yes.
Like I said, I know, right?
Right.
That's one of,
Phew.
like I said, that's one of those out of body moments. Those are the ones that
Man.
you dream about, and then you're here, and you have to pinch yourself and say, "Is this me?"
Uh, yeah, yeah.
That is too funny. And several Grammys along the way, but just how and we were talking about how you all had to actually record the songs. Let's talk about that. These big
Okay.
albums.
The big one that sold over 35, 40 million copies, that entire album of Please Hammer Don't Hurt Him was recorded on a bus. We had bought $40,000 of equipment, including a 16-track reel-to-reel recorder. All right, so we're talking seriously old school. We didn't have Pro Tools or anything to help us along like that. So we had a 16-track recorder. We had a 20-channel mixing console with no automation. We had we're using a Mac SE20. You have to be seriously old school to even
Right.
know what I'm talking about. Um, and we had two compressors, two noise gates, and a keyboard and a microphone, and that was it. Um, that's right. I was telling you the process of how to
Right.
get the vocals done.
Yes.
Right. So of course, we had to have the power on here. So we had this equipment installed in one bus. So we of course had to have the power on, but we couldn't record in there because the generator was so loud. So what we had to do was take one of the other buses and park it in the parking lot. And yeah, we did all of our recording vocals at night after the concerts that we were doing because we were actually out on tour promoting Let's Get It Started album.
Right.
So we would have to park two buses in the parking lot of the hotel that we're staying at, and then run cords out of the window from one bus to the other to
Yes.
record the microphone, and another cord so we can talk to each other through headphones. So that was the process of getting the vocals done.
Of that whole, and
We
you did that
recorded.
whole entire thing.
We did the entire recording on a tour bus.
Wow. And we were just laughing. I said, you're going to have tour buses traveling when COVID, after COVID, 2021
Right.
or 22, they're going to be parked beside each other. They're going to have cords running out of one window into the other,
Right.
and they're going to record that way as they're traveling on tour because they're going to say, hey, we need this album done. They've got to do it now.
Got do what you need to do. Exactly.
Yes, 35, 40 million copies. Wow.
Yeah. It's either the first or second biggest selling rap album ever. So that's a huge blessing to be a part of that. Major.
Yeah, he traveled with a huge team, it looked like. Just a lot of people. Just seemed like they traveled.
About 1/4 of Oakland was on stage with us out on the tour.
Each time, right?
Man, it was some serious craziness, but it was one big family,
Right.
and a lot of fun, and that energy he would bring this on the stage with him. It was just amazing.
What did you learn along the way, or what did you learn from all of that experience? Just coming from Confunkshun, then you go to MC Hammer, and just the music itself, just how it was changing. It was changing even then.
True. When Confunkshun was going through, for instance, in the early '80s, and yes, music was changing. There was this disco thing going on
Right.
that we did not adapt to. There were other groups. For instance, Kool and the Gang seemed to make that transition quite easily. We were, I'm gonna say more stubborn, right? And we were going to be hold true to what we naturally did. So that adjustment was not let's say easy for us. And so, for instance, the record company decided that 10th you bring in all outside producers and writers. Uh, but it didn't stay true to the Confunction sound, so that album was not one of our better selling
Right.
albums. The combination of working with Confunction and then moving on to Hammer led me to something. Since I was the music director and was personally responsible for everything sounding right on
Right.
stage, I developed a saying, and everyone adapted it out on the road, which was to have a backup system for the backup system. Have a
Backup system
have a backup system
for the backup system.
for the backup system. And it worked well, man. I mean, we literally had over somewhere between 200 and 300, I'm going to call them perfect performances. And I've kept that attitude ever since. Just trying to keep everything, and you have to nowadays.
Right.
When you got big artists, you go see a Janet Jackson or a Garth Brooks. You're going to see a perfect show. There's no oh my goodness, something went wrong, we got to take a break for it. No, that doesn't happen on that
Right.
kind of level. And so how to deal with that kind of situation. And and then when we put Confunction back together in 1993, we've just kept that attitude and desire to, and that desire to give our audiences the best. It's the bottom line.
Well, I tell you, people still love Confunction. They love you, the person. I put your face over your name, and people scream, "Yes, we know him, we know him." And so, of course, the fact then going to MC Hammer, just the quality of his performances were always. He gave the same exact, and definitely because of you, he gave the same concert that he would in California that he would in Houston. I mean, it's synergy. It was the same, which is really, really many times hard to do in a lot of ways. But it was just always the same. It looked great.
Yeah, he was very very hard on everyone on stage, and yeah, because he was entering a whole other level of performance than what he was used to doing. I mean,
Right.
once it went platinum, it was like, oh, okay, we can't
Right.
keep it down. Yeah, we got
You got to
gotta
take
move,
it to the next level. You're right.
right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Then you went solo.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, when I met Herbert, it was because I went solo.
Okay.
I Confunction, I had parted ways for a while in '86. So between '86 and '93, I was on my own, which is how I got into doing producing full time.
Right.
And the reason why I met Hammer in the first place. But yeah, I had opened up a recording studio in Vallejo. Again, but wait a minute, that's where Hammer got the idea to use a 16 track, because it's the same equipment that we used to record his first album on. A 16 track reel to reel. And so the first job that I got after Confunction was my own production studio. And people would be able to bring in nothing but a set of lyrics at 9 and 10 o'clock in the morning and be able to leave that night with a finished product. We would have added drums, keyboards, bass, guitar, background vocals, string, whatever that was needed. And so I spent 2 years, I'll say, perfecting that, and then we wound up working with Club Nouveau. George Duke took one of my songs, the song Dream, title track of George Duke album, is a song I wrote. this work in Vogue, Pebbles.
Wow.
Denny and Tommy, the producers from um, oh goodness, and Jay King from Club Nouveau. And had a chance to work with a bunch of folks, R&B artist Jesse James, local Bay Area artist Lloyd Gregory. It's just been one project after another. I've been very
Wow.
blessed.
That's phenomenal. Let's do this. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back. Felton Pilate.
We'll be right back to the Cam Hill Show after these messages.
During the season's best sales event, Ron Carter Cadillac delivers 0% APR for 72 months plus $2,500 bonus cash on all 2020 XT4, XT5, and XT6. Or drive 2020 XT4 Luxury Collection only $299 a month. 2020 XT5 Premium Luxury Collection just $369 a month. And first ever 2020 XT6 Premium Luxury Collection just $399 a month. All for 39-month lease with just $1 down.
RonCarterCadillac.com.
I'm attorney Willie Powles. Allow me to express myself with you. If you've been hurt or injured in a car or truck accident, give me a call and we'll get it fixed today.
When it comes to protecting yourself and your partners, all the information out there can be overwhelming. Visit our website. We are a free and confidential service striving to help you stay informed and stay notified. We are committed to a healthy Houston.
Have you been injured in an 18-wheeler accident, truck accident, car accident? Was someone texting and ran into the back of you, not paying attention? It doesn't matter what it is. Give me a call, attorney Willie Powles. We'll fix it today. The number is 281-881-2457. Again, that number is 281-881-2457. We'll fix it today. Call attorney Willie Powles.
And now back to the Cam Hill Show.
Hey, family, thanks so much for coming back with us. We are talking to Felton Pilate. We were just talking to you, Felton, about the fact that we were talking about your studio, who all you brought in, and how really what I loved about it, you can bring a track in the morning and you can come with a finished product that evening.
Yeah, it was a great, I'll say, challenge. I've always loved puzzles, since I was a kid, and it just felt like a challenge, a way to put the puzzle together, and it was just something I became good at, and then now I didn't have the technology that I have today. Oh man, the good news and bad news about modern technology. Mm-hmm. For instance, it allows me to become way more efficient at what I do. I can get what I remember back when we were recording in the studio, it would take us 4 to 6 hours to load in and just set up the drum sounds, get them put up, tune them perfectly. And it would take, let's say, up to 6 hours just to get ready to record. In 6 hours now, I'm almost finished with the song now. So, yeah. The good news that allows me to work faster. The bad news, and it's funny sometimes, is that I have access to so many sounds.
Right.
That it's easy to get lost in the technology. And just some advice for up and coming producers and do not get lost in the technology. Right. Don't let that hold you up from getting your song written. And I always use the example of Motown Records. They had one drum kit, right? And all the bass players running through that one. So it's not like you had a choice of 100 snare drums like I have now. you got one snare drum and you just made the song work. So that, yeah, don't get lost in the technology,
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm so glad you brought up the producer part. Would you prefer being the producer or vocalist? What did you think would be different? What do you like, behind the scenes or in front of the scenes? What did you think?
I've like I said, I've mentioned that. Well, that's two separate things for me, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
The producer thing, I love being behind the console and doing the creating and
Right.
the mixing. All that's fun. But the singing, I mean, other than the studio part, being on stage, that's still my drug. That's still
Wow.
my biggest source of fun is to get out and do concerts.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm. And I'm glad you
so
mentioned that because, COVID is here and many of the artists are just antsy. They're like, Cam, this virtual thing, yeah, it's okay, but we're singing to a camera.
it is not the same.
Right. They don't have the energy, or you don't have the closeness. You don't have the fans. You don't have the the
Feedback.
touching, all of that.
Right, right. And one of our songs on stage with Confunkshun, I go walk through the audience,
Yes.
shaking hands, and you can't. It's not the same.
Because I know many of the audience members just grab the microphone and sing it, or grab
Right.
you
So
and just start taking pictures, especially now. They will
that
grab the pictures.
man, it happens all the time. But yeah, we had a chance to do a virtual concert in Las Vegas about 2 months ago.
Uh-huh.
Climax was on the show, Lakeside
Right.
was on the show. They opened the show, and by the time we came on stage, I mean, there was literally almost no one in the audience. There might have been 10, maybe 15 people in the audience, and half of them were Lakeside.
Right.
So we just stayed after just to watch our show, But
Right.
it's weird, man. I miss having an audience. I really do.
And then I'm so glad we talked about that because so many times they talk about the drive up, they're going to do drive in concerts where you're so far apart, but people are in their cars and, just things like that. They're trying to find a way now that, with COVID of what they could do or what we could do. But many artists, I've heard it over and over again. They said, Cam, it's just different. It's not the same.
Right? Yeah, it's not. But if my fans and audience are willing to come to a drive-in to watch me perform, hey man, I do what it takes to make my audience happy.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I'm fine with that.
Absolutely,
We'll make it work.
absolutely. But now we've got the vaccine. It's come out, so we'll talk.
Right.
We'll leave that one alone. I looked at something that I really loved. We couldn't play it on today, but you and your daughter singing together, "Endless Love." How
Right,
beautiful
right.
was that? Wow. How did that come about?
Okay. Well, they came to visit here in Atlanta, and she came. She brought her two children, and my other fun passion is to go sing karaoke. I love singing karaoke. Just go sing other people's stuff for a change. And whenever I would go to Memphis, she and I would always go to this karaoke club, and we'd sing. What was it? We set up the song Atlantic Star. We would sing Always and Endless Love. And so this was the first time us being together in a recording studio. I'm like, hey, we need to record this. So we got behind the microphone and just made it happen. It was a father-daughter kind of magic, and it was a lot of fun. It came out good. I was very
It
happy.
came out excellent. So, family, when you have an opportunity, go look at that. That is absolutely beautiful. Just the two of you all with your synergy and just knowing the father and daughter just singing together and just, it was magic. It looked like magic. Let's say it like
Thank
that.
you.
It
It
looked
was
like magic.
a lot of fun.
Well, being a parent, along the way, and we'll talk about that. You being a parent and you singing. What do you think your children thought? Well, your daughter can sing, so.
Yeah, My son Kevin actually plays saxophone.
Okay.
I have another daughter, Shamisha, has a very, very nice voice. And my youngest son, Christopher, not only is a quite very good singer, but also, a dancer. I mean, he's got
Wow.
got that whole, thing going. Um, so most of my kids oh, wait a minute, hold on. Well, I have a total of six kids,
Mm-hmm.
and out of the six, five of them are musical.
That sounds
So
good. So
so
they
so
a creative
so, so
voice.
that has felt good, and I had a chance to work with my sons here in the studio. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like it's a closeness kind of thing that I love having.
I love that. What would you tell local artists that are local and they want to become mainstream? Even though COVID has happened, after this is over, what would you tell them that they need to do
Ooh,
where they're local here and
mainstream.
yeah, so they want to get out on the road. They want to really, get them an album or something. They want to be
Okay.
recognized. They say become a celebrity. That's what
Oh,
they told
ooh,
me.
okay, all right. The first and foremost thing that I would say is that I've been saying for years. It's called the music business for a reason,
Mm,
because so much of it is about the business, and you would be surprised. And I have a theory that becoming successful in this particular business has come down to uh, maybe four or five things, and your talent as a singer is one of those four or five things, and probably the least important.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You know, uh, Good example. You could have a well-recorded album. You could have the most wonderful voice in the world since Luther Vandross,
Yes,
and if you don't have promotion, you have nothing.
right, right,
Right?
right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Likewise, you could have a a beautiful. Again, I'm use the voice thing again. A beautiful voice, and if you have a weak song,
Mm-hmm.
you have nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's not going to go anywhere. So there's a bunch of elements that have to work together. You
Right.
know, um, pro- there's the song, there's promotion, there's marketability, and then there's the talent of the artist.
Right, right, right. I was been talking to several artists, and they were just saying, back long time ago, of course, you have record labels that are behind you, you have the money behind you to push your marketing, but now many people are independent, so then they have to do it.
Yes, there's via Instagram
Yes,
and Facebook and all of the social media. There are certainly ways to get out here and go market yourself, um, which takes care of some of that promotion thing that I was talking about. So
mm-hmm.
yeah, it's not so then at that point you have to have those other elements going. Having a bunch of good marketing and weak material, you know, still not going to work. So it's a combination of things, and that entire combination has to be there in order for it to work right.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Absolutely. I'm glad you talked about the music business because we always say it's about 10% music and the other part of it business. But many have not, just along the way, some have really lost on the business side because of representation. They were not represented. Well, let's say it like that.
Right, right. Um, at some point, assuming again, I keep going back to those elements. Um, that if you don't understand the business or don't have a firm grasp on it, yes, and you've got those other elements working, you're going to miss out on a bunch of money.
Mm-hmm.
There's ways of monetizing what you're doing, and it certainly does not hurt you at all. To ask a professional. Don't be scared to ask for help. Get a good music attorney to help. Guide you where you need to be going.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we can't always use our uncle or our aunt or our cousin or cousin JoJo or
Right, 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 right. Yeah.
We can't always use them or something like that, and then all of a sudden the money is missing, and we're all upset and want to figure out what happened. And
Oops. Yeah.
that's funny when I hear that all the time, and I've heard a lot of those stories. One
Right.
guy had to actually fire his mother.
Oh.
She was a momager. Yeah, she was the manager and the mom, so he had to fire her. So that wasn't so good. Mom wanted to know
Oops.
why.
Right. Right. Oh, that's a topher there. Right.
Yeah. As you look through, and I love what you do as a producer. Do you think that more of the artists, do you think that they should learn more of the business? Should they
Yeah.
be learning how to write or know how to write or something? Do they need to know more things?
Absolutely. Absolutely. If for no other reason than, of course, the writing adds, more income to what's coming in
Right.
into you as an artist, and to some degree gives you more control over your art. Barbara Streisand, to my knowledge, co-wrote that one major song, was it Evergreen? But for the most part, most of her career has been singing songs that other people have written, and it just speaking for me, being able to perform something that I have written,
Right.
certainly adds to that emotional connection that I'm trying to write. So and again, speaking for myself, we did 10 albums for Polygram, and during every single one of those albums, I'm sitting at the recording console with the producer and the engineer going, okay, what does that do? Why'd you move that over there?
Right.
Explain to me. I wanted to know, and at this point, if I'm needed to engineer my own session, I can do it. If I need to produce my own session, I do it. And just having that all under one, I'm going to say, roof, has been extremely helpful to me. And of course, I would suggest, learn as much as you can.
I'm glad you said that, especially during COVID, because many times you could write, and another young lady was talking about that, you could have a written song that maybe is not for you, but someone else says, hey, I'd like to sing that song. And then there you go, that's more income.
Yes.
It went on someone else's, they're singing it, but you still have, you're still getting paid, monetized for it.
Yes. There's a young lady, Diane Warren. Okay, if you're familiar with who Diane Warren is, she has written songs. To the beat of the rhythm of the night, rhythm of the night. She wrote "Unbreak My Heart" for Toni Braxton.
Wow.
Because You Love Me for Celine Dion. I mean, we're talking about highly prolific songwriter who is not a recording artist at all.
Wow.
All she does is to write songs for other people.
Wow.
And that's her only source of income, as far as I know, and she's done extremely well in that.
Wow. That's all she needs to do.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
But just to write, and like you said, to produce, and really to know, because sometimes, hey, if the producer doesn't show up, you know how to do it.
Yes. Which, and that reminds me. I had to have a talk with a client I had here the other day. I said, do you know who produced Thriller? And he said, yeah, Quincy Jones. I said, do you know who wrote? He's like, Quincy Jones, right? I said, no. Someone else wrote Thriller. His name was Rod Temperton. But I'm asking you that to point out that they are two separate functions.
Right.
Just because you wrote the song does not make you automatically the producer. And vice versa.
Right.
Producing the song does not require that you wrote it. They are indeed two separate functions. Now, of course, there's a bunch of people out here who do both. But for a lot of people who are out here, I'm gonna say, making beats, or writing the track. No, no. In my humble opinion, no. That does not automatically make you a producer
Right.
or the producer. That's just in my world.
Right.
That's not the same thing.
Absolutely. Let's do this. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back with Felton Pilate.
We'll be right back to the Cam Hill Show after these messages.
During the season's best sales event, Ron Carter Cadillac delivers 0% APR for 72 months plus $2,500 bonus cash on all 2020 XT4, XT5, and XT6. Or drive 2020 XT4 Luxury Collection only $299 a month. 2020 XT5 Premium Luxury Collection just $369 a month. And first ever 2020 XT6 Premium Luxury Collection just $399 a month. All for 39-month lease with just $1 down.
RonCarterCadillac.com.
I'm attorney Willie Powles. Allow me to express myself with you. If you've been hurt or injured in a car or truck accident, give me a call and we'll get it fixed today.
Hey, how you doing? We're back with Felton Pilate. Felton, I'm so glad we were talking about the fact of producers becoming or just saying because they had written it, they're producers. And I've heard that over and over. It's like, wow.
Right.
They
right.
automatically give themselves that title.
Right. Yeah. But again, as I said before, it really is two separate functions. And
It definitely is. It definitely is. Let's talk about your new single.
right. It actually got re-released not that long ago. It's a song I wrote called "We're Still Here," and when it came out just before Christmas last year, it started picking up traction, then it went away. But then once COVID set in, somehow the message of resiliency set in from the title of the song, and so it's been re-released. It's now number 4 in Canada. We've get higher in the charts in Italy, England, France, Germany, and Spain. So overseas is doing well. It's getting airplay in New York, Atlanta, a couple other places here in the United States. But like I said, it's really doing well overseas. Despite COVID, Felstar Productions here in the studio has been very busy. We also had a chance to release a record, producer record, an artist named Edward R. Seeley. The song called "Is Brighter Than This," and it features me. That's also being played on the radio. I had a chance to work with a new artist. Oh no, he's not an artist. I worked with him out on the road with Hammer. He's the lead singer of a group called Special Generation. Again, the artist and producer Edward R. Seeley up in Canada did a song featuring Kendrick Washington that I had a chance to produce for the record company.
You've been busy.
There's a guy named Dyson the singer, and we did a song which is a duet with him and the late Ollie Woodson called "Love at the Same Time." So I've actually those four releases that I produced are all out at the same time. So it's been very busy.
Yes,
around
very
here.
busy. You've been very busy. Let's talk about
Yeah.
international. Many people don't know this, but international, I'm telling you, is really, really huge for R&B and any, just music, period. I don't know that they put a
Yes.
really color on their type. You know what I mean? I just think they love
Yes.
music.
Right. And it's nice to feel that where the someone else is embracing
Yeah.
what you do, and I'm very happy and say happily surprised to hear that. Oh my God, I've got a top 20 song in England.
Yes.
Oh man, that is wonderful. So I'm certainly looking forward to doing some touring after this stuff clears up.
And then the thing about it is that during COVID, I mean, people have really, because they've been home, because they've been, inside, streaming is really, really big.
Right. Yeah. And there's the streaming thing, and plus the fact, and which is great, the fact that COVID is like forcing you to stay home. Then all of a sudden there's this new creativity that's going in.
Right.
I don't have anything to do. Why don't I sit home and record? Why don't I
Right.
sit home
Right.
and write something? And I'm glad. I'm actually glad to see that. People have been forced to get in and learn something new.
Right.
A bunch of stuff I've learned over the past half a year. YouTube. I learn something new on YouTube every single day.
I know, yeah, YouTube University.
Right.
That's what
Yeah,
we all
right.
call it.
University, I like it.
Yes, we all call it YouTube University because we're all either learning something on there on a constant basis.
Right.
And we feel like we're getting degrees because we read so much off of it. It's so much. But the thing about it, did you have a studio before, or had you always had one there? Had you always had your studio?
I've always, not always, probably since the late 70s, I've always had a way of recording something at home.
Okay.
In my house. Late 70s. I remember I had what was called an 80-8. All you old schoolers know exactly what I'm talking about. A reel-to-reel 8-track, and I would do my Confunction demos at home instead of going down, driving downtown. I just bought basically the same equipment that we had at our rehearsal studio downtown.
Right.
I bought it at home so I could, sit home, and if I feel like working in my pajamas, I can, But I didn't officially open a recording studio until 1986. With the ability and the intent of actually recording other people.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, with COVID, it was forced. So many people were saying, they were going to Amazon and, buying a lot of equipment, at different places. And they were like, since we have to stay at home, we better have a studio there,
And you know what? I say all the time that everything is relative, right?
Yes. Yes.
I can do more on my iPhone and my iPad than I could when I was recording, when I opened up my first recording studio. I literally have more processing power and access to more tracks and everything on my iPad. There is, folks, you don't need a recording studio. You can do so much with just the technology that you're probably carrying around in your pocket.
Right. Absolutely. Yes. You save so many people the money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they already have it accessible.
Right. And yeah, I've had multiple tell me, man, I'd like to do your demo, but man, I can't get into the studio. Man, you got a cell phone? Yeah. Okay, we got a studio.
There you go. There you go.
A cell phone, some software that will cost you less than $20, and some headphones. You're off and rolling.
Wow. A lot of people don't know that. You just sold them. Trust me. They're going to look at the iPhone that they spent all the money on, an iPad that they already have. Everybody has one.
Okay, I'm going to say I need to be a salesman for Apple.
There you go.
There's a $5 app called GarageBand that you trust me, you can do wonders with that.
Wow. That's good. What would you like to tell viewers? What would you like to leave and tell people, as far as just music itself, what they can do? Because 40 million dreamers are out there that are unemployed. So I look at that, and many times they're, go into depression because they've had a dream, they put on the side, but now they're laid off. Because all that time, of course, they thought, I need to get the funding, I need money first, and then, I will do my dream. But now they've been at work 20 and 30 years or 15 years. Now they're furloughed or laid off. What would you tell them now about doing their dream?
Oh, wow. I'm going to tie that into what we just talked about. Dreams don't necessarily have to be expensive. Again, you can take if your dream is to be a recording artist. Again, you can start you start with technology that you already have. You know, in terms of recording what it is that you want to record. Now, if you're looking to get the inspiration for having something to record, and as a songwriter, there was something I learned a couple of months ago, and I thought it was very, very clever. And the advice was that you start with your favorite line from your favorite song, and make that your first line of your new song that you're going to create. And when you're finished recording your new song, go back and rewrite the first line. So if you're just looking for some inspiration, there's I'm not sure how to address the thing of people who have had jobs and lost their income. That's a really tough one for me. Even literally to relate to, music has been my only income since 1972. Right? I've not been fired from a job or have to go that. So although I can sympathize with it, I can't, but the chasing your dream part, the following your dream, that is literally a matter of making the commitment to do it.
Right.
And if COVID has given you that time, take advantage of the time. If you need inspiration can be found in dozens of places. A game I play with some of all my first time clients here. We take 15 minutes and we create a track based on their phone number. And we literally we make up a music track based on their phone number. And I do that just to show them where inspiration can come from.
Right.
Right. So at this point, if you have a dream that say it again, if you have a dream to chase, you probably don't have to spend any more money than you've already spent, and you have the time. So now it's just a matter of making the commitment. Absolutely. And making it a priority.
I think that's the key, the priority.
The priority. Yeah.
I love that about commitment. I love what you're saying about priority and just the commitment and all of it, and consistency. I mean, you have been consistent along the way, like you said, 72. I mean, you have been in music all that time. Wow.
Yes. Yeah. Huge blessing. And I can honestly say that a lot of that commitment came from being in Confunkshun, came from being in Project Soul. While we were in Memphis, we depended on each other. We were, since that was our only source of income, for instance, when we got paid every night, we would pool all of our money together, and as a group, we would pay the rent on our apartments, and we would buy food.
Wow.
And then I think we paid ourselves a salary of like $5 a week. Because if your housing was taken care of and your food was taken care of, and the only thing we have to do is rehearse and make our show better, so that's how we had to make that work. But it set up a whole nother mental attitude of committedness.
Right.
Because we were certainly committed on making that work, and we just took the steps necessary to survive to make that happen.
But you just freed a lot of people. I'm going to tell you why. So many people, even family members, because of COVID and how it has affected the world. Many people just heard, just like I did, you pooled, you collaborated, you put things together, and it's more. You have more when you're together than apart.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And there's things that families and communities and that people can do together. And as you
Yes,
said, and you just said, yes, yeah, we can do this,
yes,
and it takes, not having that attitude, well, I have to have all this for myself. Okay, well, yeah, you feel free to have all of nothing,
right. Yeah,
by yourself.
right. Right,
Yeah.
right. But pulling it together is such, man, just the unity that just tells. That's why you all are so, timeless. It's timeless. Your music is timeless. It really is.
Thank you. Thank you.
It really, really
Thank
is.
you.
I appreciate you so much, my friend. Where can people purchase your music?
Um, I'm pretty sure it's on Spotify, iTunes.
Mm-hmm.
If you just look up the song "We're Still Here" by Felton Pilate, um, I'm told that it's everywhere.
Yes.
But just look it up and look it up by name. I personally am easy to get a hold to. I'm the only Felton Pilate in the United States. So
Right.
if you look up Instagram,
Yes.
seriously. Oh, wait a minute. I gotta tell you, I did find another Felton Pilate in
Uh-huh.
France.
Yes.
I'm like, oh man, we got the same name. And so of course I spent some time and I tracked him down, right?
Uh-huh.
And I wrote him an email, you know. I said, hi, I'm Felton Pilate, I'm in the United States and blah blah blah. And he responded. His response was, the Felton Pilate?
Yes. The
And
Felton
wait a minute,
Pilot.
and it turns out that wasn't his real name. He had just saw my name and thought it was a cool stage name. So he just adopted the name Felton Pilate as his. He wasn't trying to pass himself off as me.
Right.
He just picked up what he thought was a cool stage name and figured that we would never meet.
Really?
Surprise!
So you so you really are the only Felton Pirate in the world.
Well, only one I've found so far. So,
Right, right, right.
yeah.
I appreciate you so much, my friend. Thank you for the opportunity. Man, today, this interview has been perfection. I appreciate you. Also, thank you so much for all those years that you have just given us just music.
Thank you and for all the fans and people who have bought the records and listened to our stuff all year. Thank you so much for the love, and I assure you that the love is coming right back at you.
I appreciate you so much, my friend. Talk to you soon. That is the Felton Pilot. Talk to
All
you,
right.
buddy. All right,
Take
on
care.
tomorrow, take care. On tomorrow, we will have Charlie Singleton of Cameo. We'll have him on next, 12:30, 1:30 Central Standard Time. Bye.